Yeah, I said it ain't no running. I'm really dropping the pain. The famous back in the game. You better walk away. No running. I really do what I do. I'm breaking just like the news.
Chat. So, we about to watch another video with Wrestle With Andy. Shout out to him. He's been dropping bangers. The best debut from every year from 2000, 2005. Now, what is some great debuts for y'all, man? I can name some I don't know if they mean like actual debuts or if they mean like rookie years. Because if I was gonna say rookie year, you got to throw Sheamus up in there. I think Sheamus came out like 08, 09, and he had a fantastic rookie year beating John Cena in that TLC match. But if you're talking about debuts, you got Jericho 2000. You got AJ like 2016 debut at the Rumble. Like it's a whole bunch of debuts that you could think of, man. So yeah, I don't know if they mean like actual rookie years or if they mean like debuts. So Rey Mysterio 2002, another fantastic one. Yeah, so like I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, those were two that immediately popped up in my head. Rey Mysterio is another great one too. So yeah. But let's get into it, man. Best debuts.
Every WWE newcomer wants to get their debut just right, as you only get one chance to make a good first impression. So important is this, in fact, when it goes well, it's often been the highlight of a calendar year. But just who had the best debut for each year of the 21st century? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at right now, starting with 2000 and the arrival of Taz.
Taz was the best.
It was at that
2000?
year's Royal Rumble where, in front of a raucous Madison Square Garden.
I thought it was Jericho. I thought it was Jericho, unless Jericho was 2009. I mean, not 2009, 1999. I thought it was Jericho. Is that Shamel? Is that Booker T's wife? I didn't know she was a backstage person. I didn't know she was a backstage person. I didn't know that. I just found this out today. Shout out to Queen Shamel, man. Your husband be tweaking on NXT. Your husband be tweaking on NXT, but he is the best commentator, so I'm gonna let it rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let it rock. But I thought it was Jericho. They said Taz, so we'll see.
For the crowd, the human suplex machine first appeared in WWF after weeks of teasing. Obviously then, this was a big deal, not just because Taz had a reputation for being one of the toughest guys in the industry back then, but also because he was a native of Brooklyn. So as you would expect, he was treated like a hero here as he completely dismantled Kurt Angle in short order. Sure, things wouldn't go so well after that, but nothing can ever take away from the great introduction the ECW star had on night one. And he wouldn't be the only ECW alumni who'd be making a big WWE debut around this time, as in 2001, the same thing would be happening with our next subject, Rob Van Dam. Of course, in Rob Van Dam's case, however, this wasn't him jumping.
I don't know how they're doing this list, because they just had back-to-back ECW superstars go for both years, 2000 and then 2001. I don't know how they're doing this list, but I guess RVD. RVD, yeah. So, you know, I don't know.
From ECW to WWF, as by that point the former company had already gone out of business. So, with no job to go to anymore, it made all the sense in the world that Mr. Monday Night would find a new home on Raw. Hell, so much would he be instantly taken to by fans here on account of his innovative in-ring offense and laid-back character, he'd become one of the only highlights of the infamous Invasion angle. That's right, aside from Booker T, RVD would really be the only guy who came out of this storyline looking good. And that makes him an easy choice for the best WWF debut of 2001 as far as we're concerned. But what about 2002? Well, when it comes to that year, the best could only be John Cena.
I didn't think they was gonna pick Cena. I swear I didn't think they was gonna pick Cena. I thought they were gonna pick somebody else for 2002. Like King said, Rey Mysterio. I thought they was gonna pick somebody else for 2002. They decided to pick my guy, bro.
And his name is John Cena.
They decided to pick my guy. I didn't think they was gonna pick Cena. I thought he was gonna pick somebody else.
Why is that?
Let's keep it going.
Well, because over the next couple of decades, John Cena would go on to become the face
Are they gonna
of the
show
company
where
itself,
Rey Mysterio
with him
broke?
being
They
easily the
didn't
big-
show. I thought they was gonna show when Rey Mysterio broke the thing, bro.
decades, John Cena would go on to become the face of the company itself, with him being easily the biggest star Vince McMahon had produced since the exits of both Steve Austin and The Rock. Sure, his first few months weren't his high watermark, as even if he did stand out during his first night going up against Kurt Angle, he'd quickly find himself falling back down the card as he struggled to develop a character. But that wasn't a big deal in the long run. No, once he morphed into the Doctor of Thugonomics, it was full steam ahead for Big Match John. And the reality of the situation is that he'd never have gotten to this point if it wasn't for his initial arrival on an episode of SmackDown, where he proclaimed that he had exactly the level of ruthless aggression his boss was looking for.
So if they doing it like this, I'm guessing they doing it based off of like how the superstar ended up. I guess, like, I don't know, because the first one was Taz in 2000. Then they had Rob Van Dam in 2001. Now they got John Cena in 2002. Like, I don't know where they going with this, bro. I don't know where they going with this as far as, like, debuts. Like I said, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like 2006 or 2007 got to be, like, CM Punk. And then, like I said, 2016 better be AJ Styles. If it's not AJ Styles, then I'm going to be pissed. 2013, I don't know, probably The Shield maybe or something, but or like they got they had the Wyatt family in there too. I don't know, man. This list could go a whole bunch of ways with how it's based now, so we'll see.
Would the best debut of 2003 have that same level of ruthless aggression, however? Well, let's find out as we look at him next, the one, the only Goldberg. Yes, it might have taken a while longer than expected, but by 2003, WWE had managed to convince Bill Goldberg to sign on the dotted line, with this meaning that for the first time in his career, he'd be a WWE superstar. And the impact he was intent on making in the company was evident on night one, as it was here that he went right after the biggest fish in the pond by challenging The Rock. What happened after that? Well, while he would end up beating the Great One, and would become World Heavyweight Champion before the year was over, there was a general sense that his run could have been a lot stronger if he'd been booked better overall. But again, like with Taz, none of that can take away from how successful he was on night one. So now that we've covered that, let's look to 2004 instead. The year when the best WWE debut was none other than Carlito. Sure, Carlito might not have come into WWE with the same level of fanfare that someone like a Bill Goldberg
I don't know
had,
why I thought
mostly because he
Carlito was like a
still
little bit
rookie
later.
here, but that didn't mean he wasn't dead set on
Man,
impressing right away.
2004.
And this was something he did because in his very first match on the SmackDown brand, he pinned John Cena to become the new United States champion. Needless to say then, this was a shocking moment,
Like I said,
and one
I
which
swear I thought
immediately
that
put
was
the Puerto
like
Rican on the
later.
map.
I thought
Honestly,
that was
at
like
that point in time, it
2006.
wouldn't have been unreasonable to look at Carlito and see a future world champion.
2004.
So strong did he look in his debut. And he wouldn't be the only person who'd be debuting around this time that would look very strong early on, as the exact same thing could be said about our entry for 2005, Bobby Lashley.
Ooh, we hurt people. We hurt people. Yes, sir. I don't have no sound for Bobby Lashley, so I'm going to give him some horn. Yes, sir. The Almighty. Indeed, bro. What did Mike say? What did Mike say? What did Mike say? Bobby. Never forget. Man. Indeed. Yes, sir.
But then, to be fair, it would have been very difficult
this
to make
Bobby
Lashley
from
look
here
weak,
to
as his physique upon arrival
2007
in
was
WWE could be
to me was the best Bobby. But obviously we got Bobby now with the Hurt Syndicate and like the Almighty era of Bobby. Fantastic. I still think that this era of Bobby Lashley from here to around like 2007, 2008 was like the best era for Bobby Lashley. Personally, for me, that's what I think. But it could be different for everybody. But man, Bobby Lashley, let me give him a thumbs up.
Lightly described as that which would exist for the love child of Brock Lesnar and Scott Steiner. Come on now, even in the world of WWE, it was rare to see someone quite as jacked as he was back then. And that made Vince McMahon immediately want to go all the way with his newest signing, with him spending the entire year undefeated in singles action. No, this wouldn't be the peak of Lashley quite yet, but it would be a hell of an introduction for a rookie, and one which would make it clear he was going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future. And when it came to 2006, sheer size would also be a major factor in why the best debut of that year came out of the gate so strong. That's right, it's time for us to talk about the Great Khali.
Man, hey. I ain't gonna lie. When I first saw the Great Khali, I thought the Great Khali was finna destroy some stuff, bro. Great Khali was champion. He did win the championship. I thought he was gonna be way more dominant than what I thought. For real. I thought Great Khali was finna destroy, especially when we all remember used to hate that tall beast. Mike said that he used to hate the Great Khali. What you mean? He did destroy a whole skull. That was I was about to get to that, Mike. When I saw him squish Rey Mysterio's head like a rotten tomato, bro. Like, it was crazy. But yeah, man. But then all of a sudden, like, he just like went down here. It was kind of like the whole thing with the Big Show and stuff, man. It was kind of like the whole thing with the Big Show, where, you know, Big Show was dominant for a little bit, then all of a sudden faded, then he got back, dominated again, faded again. Like, it was kind of like all over the place. But you said that Punjabi prison match with Batista, indeed.
Now, he might not be considered amongst the best world champions in WWE history
once
today,
they turn
but when
Great
he
Khali
debuted in
into
WWE
the
in
what they call
2006,
him,
the
the
Great Khali felt like someone who was going to be a major
Playboy
player
or
for
whatever.
some time to come.
That's
And
when
the reason for this was because at a legit 7'1" in height, he towered over the rest of the roster, with him even being bigger than giants like Kane and the Big Show. So as you would expect then, as soon as Vince McMahon laid eyes on the Indian, he saw money in him. Money which he would set about drawing by having the big man be a focus of the SmackDown brand. Yes, immediately upon arrival, Khali made it known he wasn't here to play. Like, he absolutely destroyed The Undertaker.
Oh, man.
And this set him down a path
so
which would eventually lead towards that prized World Heavyweight title in 2007. But he wasn't a newcomer anymore by then. No, the role of best newcomer in WWE, who had the best debut of this year, would by that point have moved on to someone who was less about power and more about comedy.
Santino! Fire debut. Santino, the Cobra. Indeed, fire debut. Yes, sir. This dude was a fan. Hopped out directly out the crowd and won the championship in the same night. W debut right there. He had the best luck from Bobby. Man, W debut right there. W debut. You said Blake should have been a champion a long time ago. Nah. I'm glad that she won it now, though. But fire debut.
Of course, we should clarify here, though, while Santino would go on to become one of WWE's premier comedy characters, that wouldn't be the way he was presented on night one. No, on night one, during one of the rare episodes of Raw to air from Milan, Italy, he'd play the role of a fan in the crowd who got a chance to challenge then Intercontinental Champion Umaga. Obviously then, this was all designed to make it seem like, when Morella beat the champ, it was a huge upset and a big moment for a local guy, even if, in truth, the man behind the character was a Canadian. And that moment would set Santino.
That's crazy, man. Like, I found that out this year, that Santino is Canadian. I found that out this year that Santino is Canadian. For the longest, since I was a kid, since we were kids, I for sure thought Santino was Italian. Mike said Canadian. Yeah, bro. They could have kept that info. Man, yeah, he's from Canada, bro. This dude Santino is from Canada. Like, it's crazy. Like, what?
Down a path of
He
being one of the
did a
mainstays of
fantastic
WWE
job hiding
during the
it.
PG era to come. Really, when you think about
He did
this
a
time
fantastic
period,
job
he's one of
hiding
the first
that.
people who might come to mind, but he's probably not the first. No, the first might very well be our choice for the best debut of 2008.
What I say? what I say? I said CM Punk. I said CM Punk. I always thought he was Italian. Facts. I always thought he was Italian too. I said CM Punk, bro. I knew CM Punk was gonna be on the list. I'm like, y'all got to throw CM Punk up in there, bro. I said just because with how they like had the list going at the beginning, I'm like, they got, and then like I'm like, they got to throw CM Punk up in there. I'm like, in 2000, I think like 12 or 13, you got to throw the Shield up in there. 2016, AJ got to be up in there. So yeah. 2009 better be Sheamus.
CM Punk.
Next
Now,
year
we know
better
that
be
CM Punk
Sheamus.
had been wrestling in WWE prior to this, but for the purposes of today's video, we're considering his true debut, his main roster one if you will, to have come in 2008, as that was when he left the dreaded WWE CW brand behind. And what an early splash he made here, as it would be at WrestleMania 24 that he
So
won
they didn't
the
even
Money in the
count
Bank
his
contract and
ECW
booked himself
debut.
a
They
world title
counted
shot
they
at any
counted
time of
his
choosing over the 12
they
month
counted
period
his
which followed. Would he
his
have cashed in his
WWE
contract by the
debut.
time the year was out? Yes, he would have. And not just that, he would have won one of the two top prizes in WWE in the form of SmackDown's World Heavyweight title. So even if he
Man,
would...
CM Punk was so cold around this time, bro. I can't stand Punk now. Like I'm cool with Punk. Like I don't like hate him like that. CM Punk was so cold around this time. The only reason why I hated him like that now is because one, he owed us crap. Who was that? Yo, thanks for the subscribe. Appreciate you. Give you a little bit of this. Appreciate you. But I only hate CM Punk now. One of the reasons why is because he caused Jeff Hardy to leave WWE. We all know how that went. But yeah, like I don't know, like CM Punk now, I just get tired of CM Punk, man. Like no cap, like I don't know what it is, but yeah, I can't. His theme song's still fire, but yeah.
Reach higher highs. To call this debut anything less than a blowaway success for the Second City Saint would be a lie, as it was the point he first put his name on the map of the main roster. And a similar situation would be playing itself out in 2009 with a future rival of Punk's, as that would be the year in which Drew McIntyre officially...
Oh, wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting Drew McIntyre. I wasn't expecting Drew McIntyre. I didn't know where it was going. Drew McIntyre in 2009. Broken Dreams, Drew McIntyre. I don't remember much about Broken Dreams, Drew McIntyre. I know that McMahon tried his best to book him as the chosen one, and it didn't work out at all. Like he was trying to push this man to championship status like crazy, and for some reason it didn't work out. I don't know why it didn't work out. Then he went from this to 3-man band Drew McIntyre, and then got released. So yeah, it didn't work out, and now y'all see how Drew McIntyre is now. Yeah, so
arrived. No, this was not Drew McIntyre as fans have come to know him today. a top-tier promo and former world champion.
He said again he looks
Hell,
young here.
back in
Yeah,
2009,
2009.
the Scotsman was still very much a rookie. But right away, upon arriving on the
So
Blue Brand, it was clear there were
goodbye.
big things in his future.
Yeah, Kelly.
This is why Vince
What
McMahon
is
gave him his personal seal of
yours?
approval straight away
Now
by labeling
is
him as the chosen one. Sure, you could
mine.
argue the pressure of being given such a
And
moniker may have been too much for Drew to handle back then, and that it led to him faltering for a few years yet. But none of this was evident during his initial months on the roster. No, all that was evident then was that he was a big Celtic badass who was not going to stop until he reached the top
He
of
was
the
in
mountain,
TNA when he
as
got
that
released.
this
Yeah,
would
I
be
know
very
that.
exciting to play out. By the time we reached 2010, however, it would no longer be one person who served as the best debut in WWE. Rather, it would be a whole group, a group known...
What? Oh man. Yes, sir. Boy, one of the greatest factions. Man, this is like the greatest faction around this time. I don't even think there was like any other factions around this time. 2010 Nexus though? Yeah. Fire. Nexus introduced us to everybody. You had Wade Barrett. You had Ryback before he was Ryback. This before Ryback got crazy and all this other stuff. Michael Tarver was underrated. I don't know what happened to Michael Tarver. That dude was underrated. You had David Otunga, Mr. Oh. You had Daniel Bryan up in here. You had Darren Young up in here. Heath Slater. Who was the dude that hit the 450s? What was my man's name? Justin Gabriel, bruh. What? Bro, you had Bray Wyatt up in here before he was Bray Wyatt. I'm like, what? Bro, Nexus was fire, bro. Nexus was so fire until CM Punk took it over. Then once CM Punk took it over, it was just messed up. Then they started like splitting up the Nexus. They had like the Nexus, then they had the Core. Then they went from like the Core and they added like more people to the Nexus. Like it was crazy, bro. You said Mason Ryan was number one. Man, I don't even remember Mason Ryan. I remember him a little bit, but yeah. Man, boy, Nexus was...
as the Nexus.
Yes, sir.
Now we know that as the months went on,
Yes,
the
sir.
Nexus would not reach the heights most
Curtis
people hoped
Axel,
they
yeah,
would,
Michael
with this
McGillicuddy.
largely being a result of bad booking and a complete on-screen burial from John Cena.
Yeah,
but on
Michael
night one, there was
McGillicuddy.
nothing in WWE that
Yeah,
hit
that was
harder,
that
as
was
this the night the group
one.
of NXT
So, this debut right here had me crying. I ain't gonna lie. This was when I was like 12. Cause I remember this. No, I was I think it was like 13 going into high school. And this legit had me crying because I'm like, bro, all these dudes jumping John Cena. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm like, these are dudes from NXT. I'm like, these are dudes from NXT. I'm like, why they on here? And they just jumping the mess out of John Cena. Not only did they jump John Cena, they was beating up like Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Cole and them too. I'm like, bro, they just whooping everybody. Like they was beating up the cameramen. They beat up the whole like production crew. Like it was crazy. I ain't never seen that before. I'm like, oh, this is wild. Like, it was crazy. They were just destroying everybody that night.
rookies made up of Wade Barrett, Daniel
Look
Bryan,
at
Skip
bro.
Sheffield,
Look at bro. Look at Evan Bourne. Look at Evan Bourne about to get jumped by 8 dudes, bro. Look at how he looking like, yeah. Yeah, I think I might need to dip. Bro, messing folks
Heath
up.
Slater, Darren Young, Michael Tarver, and Justin Gabriel all laid absolute waste to Monday Night Raw.
Man, jumped
Seriously, for a moment
everybody.
there, this truly felt like the second coming of the NWO, and for that reason alone, the Nexus's debut can't be considered anything less than a high point for 2010 WWE, and a sign they were intent on kicking off the new decade
Look
with a
at Bray,
bang.
man.
Could the
Rest
same
in peace to
excitement
Bray,
be
bro.
applied to our best
Husky
debut of
Harris,
2011,
man.
however? Well, yes and no. The man then known
Sin
as
Cara.
Sin Cara.
Hey,
Now,
Sin
if you're-
Cara was cold. Sin Cara was cold back in 2011, man. When he first debuted, they tried. I guess they tried to make him like another Rey Mysterio because it wasn't like, if I remember right, it wasn't a lot of other like luchadors, and I think Rey Mysterio left around this time, or Rey Mysterio just wasn't like popping like how he was around this time. But yeah, and they didn't really have any like other luchadors on the roster, so when they brought in Sin Cara was so cold. The only thing I didn't like was that they had him wrestling like that blue light and messed me up. It was hard to look at those matches, bro, because they had him wrestling like those blue and yellow lights to match his gear, and I'm like, bro, why are we doing this? Like, he was cool. I liked his entrance and everything. I thought he could really fly like that until I realized that he was using a trampoline to bounce into the ring, and I was like, all right. But yeah, Sin Cara was cold, man.
Fan of lucha wrestling or just wrestling in general, then you'll probably be all too aware that in 2025, Místico is one of the best and biggest drawing wrestlers in the world, with it largely being him who has caused CMLL to undergo a boom period in recent years. But it's not just as recently as this that he's been great. No, he's been a stellar performer all the way since the late 2000s and early 2010s. So when he signed on the dotted line with WWE in 2011 then, and was from there quickly rebranded as Sin Cara, it got a lot of people excited to see how he would fare inside of a WWE ring.
Sin Cara was cold.
And well, sure, his run in Vince McMahon's promotion might not have gone so well in the long run. During those early weeks at least, there was a sense that this was a guy who had something special, as he instantly caught fans' eyes with his
yeah, I was about to say Sin Cara versus Unico versus the Black Sin Cara.
It would be less about acrobatics and more about guerrilla warfare, as our best debut of then would be the
Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang!
Oh my God, man. There's nothing really to say here. Nothing really to say here. You know, it speaks for itself.
No, they might not have been around for the vast majority of 2012. With them
the only thing I can remember
for
Sin Cara was that entrance he made with Scooby-Doo on one of those
Roman
Raws.
Reigns and Seth Rollins didn't need months in which to make an impact. Hell, with their style of working as such a well-oiled unit, no one could even come close to getting the better of them. They were already established as a top act by the time December was coming to a close. Needless to say then, when we're talking about great debuts which would have a huge impact on the wrestling industry going forward, the Shields has to be right up there amongst the best ever, as today they all still dominate.
I want Dean Ambrose back in WWE so he can get the so he can get his theme song one more time. I'm gonna say right now, I don't think Dean Ambrose is coming back. With John Moxley, I don't think he's coming back. I know people say never, but he's doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff in AEW, and it seemed like he wants to do it. His wife don't want him to do it because of, you know, their child and stuff, and how much he's been basically killing himself in those matches. But he seemed like he enjoyed what he do. So, like, you know, why would he want to come back to WWE and water himself down and not get the booking that he deserves when he's already a star over there in AEW, you know? So, hey, it is what it is, but yeah.
It's a brand of their own, and none of that would have happened had they not made such a splash in 2012, just as the rise of our next trio would have never reached the same heights had they not hit a home run so quickly out of the box.
Back to back.
Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang!
Back to back. Oh my God, man. Recipes to Bray, bro.
In 2013. Who are we talking about here? Why, the Wyatt family, of course. Yes, there was more than one major stable in WWE during the early to mid 2010s, and while the Shield have probably gone on to become the one which has had the biggest historical impact, that's no shade on the one led by Bray Wyatt. Why is that? Well, when the Wyatt family first arrived on Raw back in 2013,
I forgot how they
were
arrived.
instantly captivating to fans, as even if they were heels, something about their backwoods Bayou cult characters made for engrossing TV each time they were on screen.
Is that Xavier Woods on the floor?
And that was especially
didn't they beat up Xavier Woods and R-Truth? Because wasn't it Xavier Woods with R-Truth around this time? If I remember right. Didn't they beat them up? And that's how they debuted? I can't remember how they debuted. I know the Shield beat up Ryback and John. Oh, they beat up Kane? Oh. Why do I not remember that? I don't know why I don't remember that. They beat up Kane. Okay. Bray Wyatt debuted his SummerSlam match against Kane. No, I'm not talking about just Bray Wyatt. I'm talking about like as a whole, like the Wyatt family as a whole. So I'm guessing they did. Oh, okay. So they did beat up Kane. Who remembers Elimination Chamber 2013? Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins versus the Wyatt family. Fire match.
Of the group's leader, someone who would go on to become a major single star himself as the years progressed. Back at this point, however, he was happy to work alongside his minions as they pretty quickly set their sights on taking out an established legend like Kane in time for that year's SummerSlam. Would the Wyatts be standing tall at the end of SummerSlam? Of course they would. Just as they would continue to do so well into 2014. That said, come 2014, they'd no longer be the best WWE debut of the year. No, that honor would instead have moved over to our next subject, Sting.
Man.
That's right. After years of being the lone remaining holdout from WCW who never went to WWE, it would be in the Survivor Series in 2014 that Sting finally made his debut inside of a Vince McMahon-owned ring.
Way too late,
this was a huge moment for fans of his as the site.
Way too late. This was way too late, man. Way too late. If Sting never went to TNA, we all, like, all of us WWE fans wanted Sting versus Undertaker. This was way too late because Undertaker was slowly on his way out. Sting was getting up there too. This was way too late, bro. We saw Sting get hurt in that Seth Rollins match in 2014. This was way too late, man. If Sting never went to TNA, or if like TNA never existed, bro, do y'all know who we would have got? Bro, do y'all know who we would have got if TNA never existed? We probably would have got AJ. We probably would have got a young AJ from 2002 all the way until now, and AJ would probably be John Cena. we would have kept Kurt Angle. We would have had Sting. We would have still had Jeff Jarrett. Like, bro, Samoa Joe. It would have been so many people from TNA. And what, bro? That's crazy. And then they finna have to deal with Brock. Man, it would have been crazy. But yeah, it was way too late for Sting to show up in WWE. He had that little run with Seth Rollins, and that was it, bro.
Of him standing face to face with someone like Triple H was a truly surreal sight to see. Really, this was one of those genuine hell freezing over moments, and it made for quite a scene inside of the Scottrade Center that night. Where would Sting's WWE run take him from there? Well, it wouldn't quite go the way audiences had hoped post Survivor Series. This is another example of a botched run after the fact not being able to take away from the power of the initial debut. No, that moment remains just as strong as ever, as it was something no one thought they'd ever see by then. And in some ways, the same could be said about...
Speaking of Sting, too, they put Sting in the WWE Hall of Fame. If I'm being honest, if I'm being honest, I don't think they should have put Sting in the WWE Hall of Fame. Cause Sting didn't do nothing in his like 2 or 3 years that Sting was there. He showed up at Survivor Series. Like I said, he had his little matches with Triple H at WrestleMania. He had his little matches with Seth Rollins. But other than that, he didn't really do anything. And they still put him in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know. That's just me. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but I don't think he should have been into the WWE Hall of Fame. TNA Hall of Fame for sure. If WCW had a Hall of Fame for sure. I'm guessing they put him in the WWE Hall of Fame because of the WCW stuff, because they bought WCW. But yeah, that's the only reason why I could think they put him in the Hall of Fame, because of WCW, but most definitely not because of the WWE stuff. But it is what it is.
Our choice for best WWE debut of 2015 too, the one involving Kevin Owens. Why do we say
Pulls up, three-pointer.
Oh man, yo, Kevin Owens' debut was fire. Coming after John Cena, bro. So Kevin Owens is another one of those. So this is when I knew about. Well, this is when I was starting to learn about like other wrestling besides WWE around this point. The best way to go to the monster and beat one of the greats, indeed. So this was around the time that I was like starting to watch other wrestling besides WWE. And Kevin Steen at the time in Ring of Honor, was one of those people that I saw, and I'm like, okay. I didn't know he was in NXT because like I said, I watched the game show NXT, and then I didn't watch NXT until 2017. So I didn't know anything about NXT around this time. But I knew who Kevin Owens was. And when Kevin Owens came out and hit the pop-up power bomb on John Cena, I swear I thought that pop-up power bomb was like one of the best finishers ever, because I ain't never seen a pop-up power bomb before. I was like, what the heck was that? He came out and beat John Cena for the United States title. Like, what? United States champion John Cena, 2015 John Cena. Like, what? But yeah, man. You said this is how Carmelo Hayes should have been against Cody. Man, they haven't been booking Carmelo Hayes like this at all, bro. It's sad. It's sad. It is. Stepped on my man's title. Man, facts. Yeah, sad. It held up the NXT title. Man, what? Speaking of him, I hope he come back soon. I don't know how long we have to wait. Facts, because I miss Kevin Owens a lot, bro. I miss Kevin Owens a lot.
the WWE debut of Kevin Owens in 2015 was something.
Kevin Owens is he don't have a lot of years left in him either. I think Kevin Owens is like 42, 43. So if anything, Kevin Owens got like a good maybe few years left in him. So we need him back as quickly as we can, so that way we could see what he can do for his last few years. And I want to see Kevin Owens hold a title again too. So, yeah.
I think many people thought they'd never see. Well, because even post CM Punk and Daniel Bryan opening the door for more indie guys in WWE, there was a sense that Vince McMahon would never take to KO, as he just didn't have the body type the boss was looking for. But after making such an incredible splashdown in NXT during the prior year, it quickly became clear that Owens was going to be undeniable once his main roster moment arrived. And that would prove to be an accurate assessment of things when this moment finally came, as after laying out John Cena on night one, KO would go on to beat Big Match John clean in the middle of the ring during his first match as part of the main roster. With this proving to any of his doubters that he absolutely had it. Honestly, it's hard to think of a better debut than this one from the 2010s, so impactful it was. Really, one of the only possibilities for topping it would be our choice for the best WWE debut of 2016, and that's only because this was the debut of one of the best wrestlers in the world.
What
the
did
phenomenal
I
one himself.
say? What did I say? That I would have been.
Pulls up, three-pointer.
Man, I would have been so pissed if they didn't say AJ Styles. If they didn't put AJ Styles in this list, bro. I would have been so pissed if they didn't put AJ Styles in this list. It was only right to put AJ Styles in this list. Man, 2016 AJ Styles. I never thought it would happen, bro. 2016 Royal Rumble, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't think it was gonna happen because AJ Styles was in TNA for so long. Then he went over to New Japan to like reinvent himself and stuff like that. Bullet Club, and I was like, man, there's no way AJ Styles is coming to the WWE. Finally did, and I'm happy that he did, man. I'm happy that he did. He's going on next year will be his 10th year in the WWE and will be his last year in the WWE. For what he did in WWE in 10 years, it's kind of crazy too. So shout out to AJ, man. But yeah, man. AJ Styles. I can't really say much about AJ Styles, bro.
AJ Styles. Come on now, when it was announced in early 2016 that 4 prominent members of the New Japan Pro Wrestling roster, and AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the Good Brothers were jumping ship to WWE, it got a lot of people excited. As for the former two at least, this would be their first time inside of a WWE ring. That said, there were some concerns that in the case of the phenomenal one, Vince McMahon wouldn't get him, and that as a result, he would end up faltering. But in the end, all of those concerns turned out to be unfounded, as following an incredible debut at the Royal Rumble in January, AJ had a stellar first year, one which saw him become WWE champion by the time the autumn came around. Yes, it all went better than even the most optimistic person could have dared imagine, and for that reason, he has to be our choice for the best debut of 2016.
Who the rest of them is after
But what
AJ
of
Styles.
2017? Well, that year it would be another former TNA star who arrived on the main roster with a bang, as that year would feature the Raw debut
Samoa
of
Joe.
That's right. After being a key part of not just TNA, but also Ring of Honor
I give Samoa Joe some of that.
Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Wins the game at the buzzer!
I give him some of that. I didn't even think about Samoa Joe. I thought it was gonna be somebody else, but Samoa Joe. We have really changed though. It's going to really what? I can't. Oh, it's going to really what? It's going to be different in the next 2 years. First, John Cena goes out this year, and then AJ next year. Oh yeah. You said you want to see him win the WWE title. I ain't gonna lie. I want to see him beat Brock for that Universal title. Because I think he had like 2 or 3 chances to beat Brock. And then I also want to see him beat AJ for the WWE title too. Like he had a few feuds around these years where I want to see him win like one of those heavyweight championships. Mostly Brock, because obviously y'all know Brock was holding that title hostage around this time. So I definitely want to see him beat Brock. And then that feud with him and AJ, fantastic. He crossed the line going to AJ house. Oh, Wendy. Yeah. That old Wendy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And well into
you
the
love
2010s,
him some Wendy's, you know what I'm
Samoa
saying?
Joe had long since established himself as one of the best wrestlers in the world come 2017.
There was nobody taking that
This
title
was a
off of
legacy
Brock.
he'd only added to during the couple of years prior when he joined the NXT roster and there became a 3-time world champion before all was said and done. One thing he was yet to do
he was a
as this
3-time
new year
NXT
dawned, however,
champion?
was appear on the WWE main roster.
I
But
thought
that would all
I
change.
swear I thought he was a 2-time NXT champion. I thought like he beat Cross. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he beat Karrion Kross when he first came back. I forgot about that. I thought he was a 2-time NXT champion. I forgot about that. You right. I completely forgot about that.
He finally arrived on Raw during the lead-up to WrestleMania 33. And boy, did he make an impact here, as it would be Joe who got to lay out Seth Rollins on night one, all before then spending the rest of the year.
Man, this is when Seth Rollins got hurt. Man. I remember this too. I was pissed. I was happy to see Samoa Joe, and then Seth Rollins got hurt. I'm like, dang. I was pissed. Seth Rollins just came back too. I'm like, yeah. I was like, Seth Rollins is getting ready to fight at WrestleMania again. Let's go. Then all of a sudden, bow landed on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins like, my leg, and I'm like, oh, like, bro, it's
during
over.
The lead up to WrestleMania 33.
You said that was a part
boy,
of
did he make
Seth
an
Rollins
impact
and
here,
Triple
as it
H
would be Joe
storyline.
who got
Yeah,
to lay out Seth Rollins on night one, all
it's
before
crazy,
then spending
man.
the rest of the year going on a warpath throughout the men's division. No, he'd never win the WWE title as AJ Styles had done the year before, but he would make it clear to anyone who didn't already know who he was that he was one of the baddest men to ever lace up a pair of boots.
Still,
that said, when compared to the baddest woman to ever lace up a pair of boots, even Samoa Joe might cower in fear, as that woman is none other than our best WWE debut of 2018, Ronda Rousey.
Stupid. Wait a minute. If I'm thinking right, that's crazy. She lost to Shayna. I was gonna say, if I'm thinking right, if they doing great debuts, Shayna Baszler got to be 2020, right? Cause y'all remember how they was booking Shayna Baszler before she lost to Becky Lynch and stuff like that. They was booking Shayna like crazy, bro. Shayna was still coming off the NXT high, destroying folks. Y'all remember that? I know y'all remember that. 2020 might be Shayna now that I'm thinking about it.
Of course, it should be obvious that we were going to go with Ronda Rousey here, as her arrival at the end of the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble match marked a major turning point for the division. So much so that only a year later, the ladies would be main eventing WrestleMania. And her aptitude for the ring was on full display during her debut bout, where she teamed up with Kurt Angle to take on Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, just as it was when she became Raw Women's Champion as the summer came around. Basically, what we're saying here is that this was an all-timer of a rookie year, and it meant the woman who would serve as the best debut of 2019 would have a lot to live up to. Would she do this? Well, let's find out by looking at her right now. Lacey Evans.
What in the world? In the world, this is not who I thought 2019 was gonna be. This was way left. I did not think that they was gonna have Lacey Evans on this list. Give her some booze, cause what in the world? I was not expecting Lacey Evans.
It might seem strange to say that. Of all the people on WWE,
I was not
Lacey
expecting.
Evans was the one who made the biggest splash as a rookie act in 2019. But when you think about it,
I was
it
not
really
expecting
is true.
Lacey Evans.
After all, following a short run down in NXT, it was here that she arrived on the main roster and quickly set her sights on going after then undisputed women's champion Becky Lynch. No, she wouldn't win either of Becky's belts here, but Lacey would get a few big pay-per-view matches out of the whole situation, including one mixed tag match main event. So really, it was nothing less than a major win for her in terms of establishing herself to a new audience. But unfortunately for the lady of WWE, come 2020, any momentum she had would have well and truly been swallowed up, as another main roster debut became the new big thing. Who are we talking about here? Who else but Rhea Ripley?
Oh.
Pulls up three-pointer. Bang!
Never mind.
It's good. Wins the game.
Never mind. Okay, forget Shayna. Forget Shayna. W debut. Now this version was when she lost to Charlotte. Man, forget Shayna. Forget Shayna. I forgot about this.
That's right. While her full-blown call-up might have happened in 2021, it was in 2020 that the Eradicator first arrived on Raw.
Now this is the
As was
old
here, she
Rhea that
found
I
herself
remember,
being
bro.
challenged by
I
main
like this
roster star
version of Rhea.
Charlotte
I like the version of
Why
Rhea
was Charlotte
now,
Flair going
but
after
I
Rhea?
liked
Well,
this
because
old
she
version
won the
of
Women's
Rhea.
Royal
I don't know
Rumble
why,
and chosen to
but
cash in her guaranteed world title match against the NXT Women's Champion.
yeah, this
Needless
version of
to say
Rhea is
then,
nice.
This was a big moment for Ripley and for the NXT brand in general, as it saw the Australian defend her gold at WrestleMania 36. Sure, she'd lose the belt here and would return to the black and gold brand for a while as a result, but it was still a major stepping stone
Rhea
in her
basically
career
made
as it
Charlotte
allowed
choose
main
her.
roster
Facts.
audiences to get a taste of her before she fully arrived the following year. And she wouldn't be the only Judgment Day member getting called up in 2021, as that year the best WWE debut would be none other than Damian Priest. Now, Damian Priest is
In 2021, Wepa. In 2021, there wasn't nobody else that popped up in 2021 besides Damian Priest. There wasn't nobody else that popped up in 2021 besides Damian Priest that they could have picked. I'm low key curious now. I want to look this up. I want to look this up.
someone that everyone could tell was talented back when he was down in NXT, but due to the fact he got his start in the ring relatively late in life,
they picked this because of Bad Bunny.
He'd ultimately be lost in the shuffle as younger stars got pushed instead. Thankfully then, this was not the case, as after arriving on Raw in 2021, Priest didn't waste any time in entering into a WrestleMania program with Bad Bunny. And once that had established him,
makes sense.
it would be on to even bigger and better things as come the end of the year, he'd be United States champion. A quick rise indeed for someone who had a lot going against him in theory on account of the fact he wasn't exactly a spring chicken by then. Would that make him the most successful NXT call-up of the 2020s? Not quite.
I do not
as a
remember
stronger
him
case
being
for that could be
United States
arguably made with
champion.
our next entry, the best WWE debut
Oh
of 2022.
yeah. Oh yeah. The greatest IC champion of all time, baby. The greatest IC champion of all time, baby.
The only, Gunther. Of course, most wrestling fans would
Yes,
have already been well
sir.
aware of how great Gunther was prior to 2022, as whether it was his work on the European indie scene or his time in both NXT and NXT UK, he had absolutely dominated everyone he'd come up against with his savage in-ring style built largely
Number
around
one.
stiff chops
Look
and
at the
high-impact
orb.
moves. That said, there were concerns that once he
Yes,
reached the main
sir.
roster, Vince McMahon wouldn't know what to do with him. Thankfully then, not long after the Austrian arrived on SmackDown, the boss no longer had to be a concern for him, as it would be in the summer of 2022 that Triple H took over as the new head of creative. And with the game now booking Gunther, he was able to get a fantastic presentation,
And the man
one
who's
which saw
gonna
him
be
continue
John
to
Cena's
dominate
last-
as the man who would
last
eventually go
opponent,
on to
yeah.
become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Would the same level of success befall our choice for best WWE debut of 2023? Well, let's find out by looking at them now, the woman
2023.
known as Jade
Jade.
Cargill. Yes, well, Jade Cargill technically made her on-screen debut for
Jade.
WWE in
Who else debuted in 2023? I mean, Jade coming from AEW to WWE, obviously W pickup, W debut because it's Jade Cargill. She was superstar. I feel like there was at least another like better debut than this in 2023. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping.
late 2022, as that was the point where following her AEW exit, she started showing up on all three brands, with the story being that each general manager was attempting to court her. But for the purposes of today's video, we're going to put her true debut as being 2023, as it was then that she formally agreed to join the main roster by having her first match there.
Dragon
How would
Lee.
this work out for the former TBS champion? Well, while there would be some early growing pains,
All right, you right, you right,
was enough to
you
make sure
right.
she remained on
Never
TV
mind.
in a notable spot throughout her
Yeah,
initial
you
months.
right.
Yes, it
Never
was clear
mind.
even this
that
early
wasn't
on
better.
that WWE saw big things in Jade's future, and that was why she'd spend so much time here under the learning tree of more established acts like Naomi and Bianca Belair. But let's move away from 2023 for now and over to 2024 instead, as that year the biggest and best WWE main roster
Right.
debut once again came from the men's division.
Pulls up three-pointer.
Come on, man.
Bang!
Come on, man.
Wins the game at the
Come
buzzer.
on, dog. Stop playing with me, dog. Stop playing with me. It's my dog right there, man.
That's right. It's time for
Top
us to
draft
talk
pick.
about Braun Breaker. Come on now,
Man,
there was no other
it's
option.
sad because Melo and Braun came out in the same year. It should be Melo and not Braun. But Braun got booked way better, and Braun is still doing his thing right now. Oh man, bro.
For us to go with here, because even if he had already given fans a taste of what he could do down on the NXT brand prior to this when he became a two-time world champion, it wasn't until Braun Breaker hit the main roster in 2024 that he fully felt like he'd arrived. And the reason for this was because it was here that he was thrown right into the deep end with some
When
of the
did
top acts
Ilya
in the
debut?
company, and in the process of doing so,
I think
didn't
Ilya
look out of place at all.
debuted.
No, whether he was going up against Sami
think
Zayn, Jey Uso, Sheamus, or anyone else,
23?
the son of Rick Steiner proved to be an absolute force of
But then
nature,
Ilya
one who
got
we could
hurt
easily
for that
see
year and a
becoming
half.
the face of the entire company in years to come. And if you need any evidence that WWE saw this same potential in him too, you just have to look at the fact he'd be Intercontinental Champion before the summer was over. But when it comes to 2025, well, it's time for us to move back over to the women's division
Stephanie.
again, because this year,
Yep.
the hottest main roster debut has been
Come on, man. That's easy right there. That's easy right there.
Pulls up three-pointer. Bang!
That's easy right there.
Bang! It's good. Wins the game at the buzzer.
That's light work. Like that's light work. That's a W right there. though.
another than Stephanie Vaquer. What has
That's
made
a W
Stephanie
right there.
Vaquer's 2025 so special? Well, after quickly rising to the top of the pack in NXT during 2024, she'd waste no time in doing the same on Raw. And we say that because following some very impressive early performances in the weeks and months after WrestleMania 41, it would be in the autumn that Vaquer found herself winning the Women's World Heavyweight title. Yes, like with people such as Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar before her, it took Stephanie less than a year to rise all the way to the top, and this has meant there's no way we could go with anyone else for the best WWE debut of 2025. Where will the Chilean's future take her next? Well, that remains to be seen. Given the current trajectory she's on, we can only assume it'll be even more world titles. But one thing she won't be is the best debut of 2026 and beyond. No, that mantle will have to be taken up by more new acts who will continue to push WWE.
Man, best debut of 2026. I want y'all to clip this. I want y'all to clip this when it happens. Best debut of 2026. I'm calling it right now. Trick Williams. Trick Williams. Best debut of 2026, bro. Incoming soon.
WWE forward as the decade enters its second half, and fan demand for great introductions continues to remain strong.
Hey man, W video, man. W video. I like these best debut lists and stuff, man. We're gonna have to rock with some more of these. Thanks to Q for the recommendation and stuff too. We're gonna have to watch some more of these, but fire list, man. Fire list.